What's going on, guys? So today we're going to make a video about creatine. I have other creatine videos on this topic and it's been a while since I've made a creatine video, so I feel like I have a better understanding of it today. It's really interesting because, you think about the case study with the rugby players where they loaded them with 25 grams for only 3 weeks. Now, they didn't mention anything about hair loss, but they did mention DHT, which is dihydrotestosterone, which is what testosterone is converted to, and when DHT is raised, that is said to affect hair loss if you have male pattern balding running in your family. So obviously for people like me with receding hairlines, and male pattern balding definitely runs in my family. No one's bald on the top areas, but they do have a receding hairline. But yeah, guys, a little background about my history of taking creatine. I started taking creatine when I was about 17, 18. And you're really not supposed to lose hair at that time, but some people do. I was taking showers, seeing a bunch of hair fall down into the drain, just running down my body. Years later, do you realize that, hey, that was a problem? But luckily, I only took creatine at the time for about a year or two, and I completely stopped for many, many years. But when I started YouTube, I started taking a ton of creatine, and I would look for the cheapest creatine there was. So you would just get a huge tub of creatine, monohydrate, and it would just last you forever. And then when that ran out, I would get another one, and then another one. And every time you get one, you're like, damn, I gotta finish this. And the train just kept going. I was dependent on it. I was getting so strong on it and fuller and bigger. I got to my largest size of 184 pounds taking a bunch of creatine monohydrate. So I took a long break, and then I started taking it again, and that's when I realized, hey, my hair is getting really thin. Like, I'm not talking just getting, losing more hair in the receding hairline area. I'm talking about patchiness on my sideburns, on the back of my head. People were telling me that my hair was looking patchy. So this really was alarming. Let me just give you an example about like Britney Spears. Remember Britney Spears in her prime? She was looking good. A lot of guys were attracted to her, but then she shaved her head. Remember how different she looked? I don't think anyone was thinking she was that attractive without her hair. The example is to let you guys know that hair is important. It's not like guys cannot worry about hair, because just from Britney Spears losing her hair, like, it's a dramatic difference. And if men or women can maintain their hair volume and hair count, that's gonna do a lot better for their aesthetics, their personal appearance. And let's not joke around, personal appearance goes a long way in this day and age. You gotta look good, whether it's for an interview, if you want someone to take your word, you gotta look presentable, you gotta dress a certain way sometimes. It is true. Yeah, so back to this study, like, they didn't even go over hair loss in the rugby thing. So it's really interesting. You hear all these good things about creatine, how it really increases your strength and stuff. And we'll go over that in a second. But I really wanted to go over these comments in my creatine videos because they're getting a lot of views, and we're getting a lot of feedback from people that are experiencing the same freaking thing. And this isn't just 3 weeks. This is many, many years of data. Like, people are taking it for months and years, men and women, and they're experiencing hair loss. So for me, I'm making this video a little different because I've recently started taking creatine again, but my hair is doing a lot better, and I'm not even patchy on the sides anymore. So I have 3 reasons why you're losing hair on creatine, and they're, one applies to actual creatine, but it could be many other factors why you're losing hair while taking creatine. Reason number 1 is nutrients. We might think that it could purely be the creatine, but is your nutrition on point? So we need vitamins A, C, most importantly B, zinc, protein. These are all essential vitamins that the hair needs to grow. Let's say we're using creatine, and usually when people use creatine, they're usually trying to get as big as possible, so they are bulking. And when people are bulking, a lot of people have bad tendencies. Zaxby's fried chicken and Kentucky Fried Chicken have extremely large amounts of calories. If you go to Wendy's and get a triple stack burger, it's gonna have a lot more calories, but does it have a lot of vitamins? The truth of the matter is there are not enough vitamins in there. Like, the regular person, they need about 4,500 milligrams of potassium a day. And if you're not eating 5 to 8 cups of vegetables a day, you are definitely not getting your nutrients. If you're stacking that with monohydrate creatine, I think your hair loss is going to be accelerated if you have male pattern balding in your family. Before you blame creatine purely, think about your nutrition. Is it on point or not? Reason number 2 is hair strategy. Guys, do you have a hair strategy? If you guys are living your life just, washing your hair with Head and Shoulders and just not really caring and proactively tending to your hair, you're gonna end up like me with all that patchiness that I was talking about before. Like, honestly, that shit just crept up on me, and I literally only noticed when it was at its worst. I was looking at the side, I looked like I had a disease or something. It was really kind of like startling. Yeah, I had no hair strategy. My nutrition was shit. I was eating like Zaxby's like all the time, just like trying to fulfill my calories. And I wasn't using the hair products that I have been using for months now since my last creatine videos. I'm gonna throw them up on the screen again, but I'm almost done with both of these products and I've seen a dramatic change. As long as the majority of it looks full from just looking at it, I'm a lot happier. But I'm not gonna owe it all to the products because my nutrition and food choices have improved a ton since the past. The strategy also involves working with your hairstylist. If you go to your hairdresser or when you go to your barber and you're not expressing to them that you have insecurities about your receding hairline, or if you're balding on the back of your hair, if they don't know that, they're gonna go into default and cut everyone's hair or their personal preference without even considering that you're worrying about balding. So that being said, if you're already experiencing male pattern balding, a certain haircut is going to make you look balder. Like, let's say for instance, when this side is cut short, I can actually put it across this widow's peak area where it's receding a little bit, and it's gonna add some thickness to it. I came up with this by myself. My hairstylist didn't understand. He was like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" I'm like, "No, I know when this part gets too long, it starts wanting to sag down and it exposes us way more." So we worked together, he cut it short, and I'm a lot happier. I just comb it right over, and it helps a little bit. And then I told him, I want to cover this side too, so we're actually growing this out a little bit. So you guys got to communicate with your hairdresser or your barber. Let them know your goals, what you want to strive for, and they're going to work with you. They went through training and they actually know what they're doing. It's just when they default to a haircut that makes you look balder, it's not in your best interest. Reason number 3 is monohydrate versus HCl creatine. So they're officially called creatine monohydrate and then creatine hydrochloride. So hydrochloride is the more premium and it's newer in this day and age because monohydrate has been around for decades, guys. Like, everyone always talks about creatine. When they talk about that in the past, it was related to monohydrate. Just that being said, I have a funny feeling a lot of people that you've been seeing in the comments that are saying that they're experiencing hair loss while using creatine, they were probably using monohydrate. Like, I can make an assumption and say that because HCl just hasn't been around that long. And guys, we have the mentality when we're working out, like, come on, remember when we were just starting to take pre-workout, you're like, oh, if I take more pre-workout, I'm gonna do a lot better. Like, I know this one dude, Mike, he takes like 3 scoops of C4. I'm like, what the like, what's wrong with you? But that is the mentality that I applied when I was taking creatine. So when I was taking monohydrate from Optimal Nutrition, massive tubs, so many servings, you're just more likely to do a heaping scoop of creatine, and that is basically at least 6 grams, almost 8 grams of monohydrate. Now, I really feel like a lot of people have been doing that in the past, and when I think about it, that's when I realized that that's when I was experiencing the hair loss. Like, my hair was becoming like a flatworm. Bacteria that people get, and then they put it under a microscope and it's like a flat worm that's wavy. That's literally what my hair was transforming into. And then when I pull out the hair, there was literally no root. It was just my hair. You know how you pull it out and there's supposed to be like a little jelly bulb? So when I was taking heaping scoops of creatine monohydrate, I was experiencing that. You know, my hair was weird, even the structure the rooting of it was different, and just the appearance was bad. So now that I'm sponsored with One Up Nutrition, I've been taking creatine again. But, you know, I'm analyzing this stuff and there's a difference. All right, so we're on the supplement facts on the back of my creatine that I take. So it has 3 different creatines in it. It's got creatine monohydrate, 3,200 milligrams, which is the dominant creatine. And then hydrochloride only has 2,000 milligrams, and creatine citrate only has 1,000 milligrams. But as you can see here, the scoop, I never use this heaping scoop. It's not the cheapest stuff, but it is extremely effective, and I always push this stuff because it will get you big. I might have been taking 3 times the amount of monohydrate when I was using that heaping scoop of the optimal nutrition. So that's my main point, guys. I never take over 3 grams of creatine monohydrate anymore, and I feel like my hair is doing a lot better. Before, I was probably taking about 3 times the amount of monohydrate, and according to that rugby study with the 25 grams of creatine loading, that is a lot of creatine. I'm taking like almost half that amount, almost up to 10 grams sometimes, because I was really reckless with them, like more is better. And that's when I really started seeing shit happen. The verdict is, this is my own opinion, if you want to take creatine, stay off the monohydrate. I know there's monohydrate in here, but maybe that's a sign. Maybe under 3 grams is doable, because you know, you want to build dense muscle, you want to increase your strength, power, endurance, and you want to have faster recovery from insane workouts. Because it's true, guys, creatine is like that miracle natural supplement that we can take, but it's not the end all be all, because once you stop taking it, all the gains really go away. So yeah, guys, to end the video, I know you guys probably still want to take creatine, or you guys are worried about taking creatine because of the hair loss. Well, I want to just let you guys know that you guys can do it still. I have male pattern balding in my family, and I'm still using creatine. But with the right strategy, these 3 things mentioned in the video, you can still take creatine and benefit from the effects of it. But I do want to leave you guys with a strategy. You guys can strategize how you take your creatine. So I noticed that when I take my creatine for a week or 2, I get the maximum effects, and it's true, because creatine peaks and caps out. You're not just gonna linearly get bigger and bigger taking creatine like it's steroids or something. You do eventually cap out, and that's a perfect time to lay off of it. You can take it 1 week on and then 1 week off, or you can base it off your personal preferences, like, hey, I'm looking kind of flat, or I'm feeling kind of small. Time to take a 1 week creatine dosage, maybe 2, and just pump back up. And then after that, lay off of it. You don't have to continuously take a bunch of creatine all the time. I mean, that's just what happens when you have tubs and tubs of optimal nutrition monohydrate. Hopefully this video helps. Hopefully it helps some people sleep at night. You know, it can't all be just creatine's fault. It's got to be nutrition, your hair strategy. Are you taking excessive amounts of monohydrate? Like for the past several months, I didn't know how to make another creatine video because people want me to talk about this hair loss topic. And as I thought about it more and more, I'm realizing there's just so many different factors, and you just can't put the blame on creatine. So in combination, if you do everything on point and get that shit right, I think your hair loss is going to be decreased significantly. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys have a question, definitely leave it in the comment section below. I might answer it like I did in this video. I will see you guys next time. Peace.